never thought silence could be so loud. It used to be peaceful, a sign of control, of winning the invisible power struggle between two people who loved but didn't know how to stay. Now it's suffocating, the kind of quiet that makes your heart ache, where even the smallest memory sounds like thunder. He used to wake up to your messages, the kind that started with good morning and ended with drive safe. Now his phone lights up with nothing but updates, work reminders, and meaningless notifications. He scrolls through them anyway, pretending he's not waiting for your name to appear. In the beginning, he told himself he was fine. He convinced his friends, his family, even himself, that he didn't miss you. That distance was good, that you were just another chapter. But deep down, something shifted. Your absence started to weigh more than your presence ever did. Every place he went reminded him of something you once said, a look you once gave, or a moment he didn't realize mattered until now. You had a way of turning the ordinary into something sacred, and now that you're gone, everything feels painfully plain. He started noticing it in small ways first. The songs he used to skip suddenly hit differently. The restaurants you loved no longer taste the same. Even laughter, once easy and full, feels forced and hollow. He thought he missed you, but what he really missed was the version of himself that existed when you were near. You brought out something in him no one else could. Patience, vulnerability, warmth. He used to think love was about passion and excitement, but with you, it was quieter. A steady, grounding force that held him together, even when he didn't realize he was falling apart. Now, in your absence, he finds himself unraveling. He scrolls through old photos, hovering over the delete button but never pressing it. He checks your stories but never reacts. He hears your favorite song and pretends not to care, though his chest tightens every time. It's a strange kind of love, the kind that blooms after it's over, when it's too late to say the words that should have been spoken when they still mattered. He never thought losing you would teach him how to see himself. But that's the cruel irony. Only after your absence swallowed his world did he realize how much light you brought into it. You weren't perfect, but you were real. You didn't try to fix him. You just made him feel like he didn't need fixing. And now, as he tries to move on, he understands something he never did before. Love isn't measured by how long it lasts, but by how deeply it changes you. And in that sense, even in your absence, you're still here, everywhere. He starts remembering the little things you said. He starts remembering the little things you said, the random stories, the jokes, the way you described your favorite song, or how you took your coffee. It hits him in the quiet moments, when there's no one else around to fill the silence. He begins to realize that those tiny, passing words carried meaning he never noticed before. Maybe you once told him you hated being ignored, and now that you're gone, he understands what that emptiness feels like. Maybe he remembers how you used to remind him to eat when he was working late. And now the messages have stopped, but the habit of waiting for them hasn't. Those memories start echoing in his mind, soft but constant, like background music he can't turn off. Every detail he once brushed aside now feels precious and haunting. He replays your voice in his head, trying to recall your tone, your laughter, your pauses. It's not the grand gestures he misses. It's the ordinary moments that once felt so small. Slowly, he realizes that the little things weren't little at all. They were the heartbeat of what you both had, and he only hears that rhythm now that it's gone. He watches your old stories and posts in silence. He finds himself scrolling through your old stories and posts, pretending it's by accident when it never is. Each photo, each caption, feels like a window back into the moments he took for granted. He doesn't like, comment, or react. He just watches in silence. It's not about curiosity. It's about connection. He wants to feel close to you without admitting he still cares. Sometimes he pauses on a picture longer than he should, noticing the glow on your face, the calm in your smile, and wondering if that peace ever existed when he was around. The silence becomes his way of reaching out, invisible but desperate. He watches your updates hoping to find a sign that you miss him too, that maybe you still think about what you both lost. But when he sees you laughing, growing, and living without him, it stings in ways he can't explain. Still, he returns again and again, like a ghost haunting his own memories. He doesn't realize it yet, but every silent view is a confession, not of love, but of regret. He's falling for your absence, drawn to a version of you that no longer needs him to exist. He asks mutual friends about you without saying your name. He doesn't dare to mention your name, but your presence lingers in every conversation he starts. When he meets mutual friends, he casually asks how everyone's doing, pretending it's just small talk, but his tone always changes when the topic drifts near you. He listens a little too closely, hoping they'll say your name first, hoping to hear that you're doing fine, but not too fine. He frames his curiosity behind neutral questions like, "She's still working at the same place?" Or, "I think I saw her post something recently," pretending it's nothing, when deep down it's everything. His pride keeps him from being direct, yet his heart betrays him with every question. He wants to know if you've moved on, if someone new makes you laugh now, if you still bring up his name when no one's around. But he also fears the answers, because they might confirm that you've healed, that your world didn't fall apart without him. So he gathers fragments of your life through others, piecing together updates like stolen glances into a life that used to be his. He never says your name, but everyone can tell. It's still the only name echoing in his silence. He replies slowly, but never fully lets go. He takes hours, sometimes days, to reply, not because he doesn't care, but because he's caught in a battle with his own ego. He tells himself he's over you, yet he can't bring himself to end the conversation completely. His replies are careful, measured, almost hesitant, a mix of pride and longing. He reads your messages more than once before typing anything, deleting and rewriting his words until they sound detached but not cold. You can sense the hesitation between the lines, the pauses that speak louder than his words. He wants to appear in control, as if he's the one choosing distance, when in truth, he's afraid of what total silence would feel like. Every short reply he sends is a thread, thin, fragile, but enough to keep you from disappearing completely. He doesn't want to lose the right to check on you, to still have a reason to see your name light up his phone. He replies slowly because he's pretending not to care. He never stops replying because he actually does. It's his quiet confession that letting go of you is something he talks about, but never truly does. He mentions you in conversations that have nothing to do with you. He brings you up when he doesn't mean to, or maybe, deep down, he always does. You slip into his sentences like a habit he can't break. Someone might be talking about movies, and he'll mention how you hated the sad endings. A song might play, and he'll casually say, "She used to love this one." It's never intentional. At least that's what he tells himself. But you're always there, in the corners of his thoughts, spilling into conversations that have nothing to do with you. His friends notice it before he does. The way your name lingers in his stories. The way his tone softens when he talks about someone from before. It's not nostalgia. It's emotional muscle memory. You became a part of his language, and now he can't talk about life without brushing against your presence. He might laugh after mentioning you, quickly changing the topic as if it slipped out by accident. But inside, he feels that quiet ache again, because even when he's surrounded by people, the words he chooses keep leading him back to you. Every unplanned mention is proof. You still live rent-free in his mind, shaping his sentences the way you once shaped his heart. He suddenly misses the calm you brought to his chaos. He doesn't realize it at first. The shift feels subtle, like a missing background sound he can't quite name. But as days pass, the world around him starts to feel louder, heavier, more chaotic. You used to be the calm in his storm, the soft voice that grounded him when everything else spun out of control. Now that calm is gone, and he feels it in every restless night, every argument that doesn't end with peace. He misses the way your presence slowed his thoughts, how your silence had a warmth that made even bad days feel survivable. Without you, everything feels rushed. His words, his emotions, his choices. He starts to crave the steadiness he once found in you, even though he never admitted it when you were there. That's when he begins to understand. You weren't just part of his routine. You were the reason his chaos didn't consume him. The calm you brought wasn't loud or dramatic. It was quiet, steady, and rare. Now, surrounded by noise, he feels the emptiness you left behind. It's not the absence of you that hurts him most. It's the absence of peace, the kind he only ever felt when you were near. 7. He keeps the gifts you gave him. Even the small ones, he still has them. The little gifts you gave. The ones that once seemed ordinary but now feel sacred. Maybe it's the bracelet you bought him on a random Tuesday, the book with your handwriting inside the cover, or that keychain he said he'd replace but never did. He keeps them tucked away somewhere safe, pretending they're just things. But every piece holds a memory he can't erase. Sometimes when he's alone, he picks them up and smiles. Not because he's happy, but because he remembers what it felt like to be loved that purely. Those gifts have become relics of a time when someone understood him without needing to ask. He might tell others he just hasn't gotten around to throwing them away, but deep down, he knows it's more than that. Each item is a thread that ties him to what he lost. A quiet reminder of the version of himself that existed when you were still around. It's not about the objects. It's about the emotion stitched into them. He's not holding on to the things themselves. He's holding on to you, the memory of your care, and the comfort that once lived in your touch. He pretends to be happy, but his eyes still look for you. He laughs louder now, smiles wider, and posts pictures that scream, "I'm doing fine." But behind every performance, his eyes betray him. They still search the room, unconsciously scanning for a face that isn't there. Yours. He tells everyone he's moved on, that he's focused on himself, that life is good again. Yet, when the laughter fades and the crowd quiets, the truth sits heavy in his chest. His happiness feels rehearsed, practiced for the world to see. You'd recognize it instantly. That small stiffness in his smile, the way his joy never quite reaches his eyes. He keeps busy to avoid the silence, but even in the noise he finds you. Maybe it's the scent of someone's perfume that makes him pause, or the sound of a laugh that echoes too much like yours. He tells himself he's over you, but his gaze still softens when your name slips out in a conversation. He's living the part of a man who has moved on, but his heart still lingers in the places you once stood. And though no one else notices, he knows it every time. His eyes are still searching for the only person who ever made them truly light up. He starts realizing no one understands him like you did. He begins to notice it in the smallest, quietest ways, the gaps no one else seems able to fill. When he talks, people listen, but they don't catch the hidden meaning behind his words the way you used to. They don't remember the details of his stories, or notice the slight change in his tone when something's wrong. With you, he never had to explain twice. You understood the silence between his sentences, the look in his eyes, the way he clenched his jaw when he was overwhelmed. Now he's surrounded by people yet feels strangely misunderstood. He starts realizing that what you gave him wasn't just love. It was comprehension, an emotional fluency that's rare and irreplaceable. Every new connection he tries feels shallow compared to the depth he once had with you. Even when someone comforts him, it lacks that instinctive care you carried without trying. He remembers how you could finish his sentences or read his mood before he spoke. Slowly, he understands. He didn't just lose a partner. He lost the one person who truly got him. And that loss sits deeper than he ever expected, because it's not something he can buy, replace, or pretend to find again. 10. He looks at old pictures but can't bring himself to delete them. He scrolls through the old photos late at night, the ones buried deep in his gallery. Snapshots of laughter, trips, blurry selfies, moments that once felt so ordinary but now ache like open wounds. His thumb hovers over the delete button, but he never presses it. Each picture pulls him back into a version of life that felt lighter, simpler, warmer. He tells himself he's just keeping them for memories, yet he knows it's more than nostalgia. Those pictures are the only proof that what you both had was real, that at one point, he was loved in a way that changed him. He zooms in on your smile, the way your eyes looked at him, the tiny details that time can't blur. Sometimes he laughs softly. Sometimes he just stares, feeling a mix of longing and regret. He thinks deleting them would mean admitting it's truly over, that there's no going back. So he keeps them hidden, tucked between new photos he doesn't care about, pretending they don't matter anymore. But every time he scrolls past them, his heart stumbles. He can't delete what once made him feel alive, because losing the pictures would feel like losing you all over again. 1. He becomes jealous when he sees you moving. He feels a quiet sting each time he sees proof that you're moving on. A new post, a different smile, someone standing too close to you in a photo. He tells himself he's happy for you, that it's what you deserve, but the jealousy creeps in anyway, uninvited. It's not the obvious kind of jealousy with anger or accusations. It's subtle, slow, and heavy. He notices the way you glow differently now, the way your laughter seems freer without him, and it unsettles him. Deep down, he thought a part of you would always linger where he left you. Seeing you happy without him shatters that illusion. He might not say anything out loud, but it shows in the way his mood shifts, the way his comments become shorter or more guarded when your name comes up. He compares himself to whoever you're with, wondering if they see sides of you he never did, or if they treat you better than he ever could. It's not just jealousy over another person. It's jealousy over the version of you that's healing and thriving without him, a version he'll never get back. 1. He regrets the silence that once felt like power. Used to think silence made him strong, that ignoring your messages, delaying replies, or walking away without explanation gave him control. Back then, it felt like power. He believed the quiet would make you chase him, make you miss him more. But now, in the emptiness of that same silence, he realizes it only made him lonelier. What once felt like victory now feels like punishment. The absence of your voice, your laughter, your soft goodnight texts, it all echoes louder than any words he could have said. He replays moments when he could have spoken, could have fixed things with a single honest sentence, but chose pride instead. Now, that pride tastes bitter. He scrolls through the old conversations he once ignored, reading the messages you sent before you finally stopped trying. He can see your effort, your patience, your slow heartbreak, all the things he was too blind to notice. The silence he used as a weapon has turned on him. It's the same silence that keeps him awake now. He regrets not realizing sooner that sometimes saying nothing doesn't make you strong. It just ensures you'll lose the person who wanted to listen. He tries to mirror the strength you show without him. He watches you from a distance, noticing how you've changed since he left. The steadiness in your smile, the confidence in your steps, the way you no longer hesitate before making choices. You seem stronger, calmer, more at peace, and it unsettles him. Instead of breaking down, you built yourself back up. And now he's left staring at a version of you he doesn't recognize. Deep down, he wishes he had that kind of strength. So he starts copying it, almost subconsciously, posting similar quotes about self-growth, trying new routines, even adopting habits he once mocked you for. To others, it looks like he's thriving, but inside he's struggling to match the energy you radiate naturally. What he's really doing is chasing the strength he lost when you walked away, hoping that by mirroring you he'll somehow feel whole again. Yet no matter how hard he tries, his version of strength feels like an imitation, a costume he wears during the day, only to take off at night when the emptiness returns. In trying to reflect your resilience, he's forced to confront his own fragility and the truth that your growth isn't just survival, it's freedom. He starts missing the way you made him feel. Not just you. He begins to realize it's not just you he misses. It's the way he felt when you were around. You made him feel seen in a world that rarely looked beyond the surface. When you laughed at his worst jokes or listened to his half-formed thoughts, he felt understood, accepted, safe. Now, no matter how many people he talks to, that feeling never comes back the same way. It's not about your face, your voice, or your presence. It's the emotional warmth you carried, the calm you brought into his restless heart. He tries to find it in others, but every new connection feels hollow, like an echo of what once was. The truth hits him slowly. He doesn't just miss the person he lost. He misses the version of himself that existed when he was loved by you. You made him softer, more patient, more human. And without you, he's back to being the man who hides behind walls. That's what hurts the most. He's not just mourning the loss of a relationship. He's mourning the loss of the way you made him feel, like he was finally enough. When he finally understands, you were never the problem. It takes him a long time to admit it, longer than it should. For the longest time, he blamed you for everything. The distance, the silence, the ending. It was easier that way, but as time passes and the noise fades, the truth starts whispering back to him in the quiet moments. He begins to see that you weren't the one who stopped trying. He was. You weren't too emotional. He was too careless. You weren't asking for too much. He was giving too little. The memories start replaying differently now. Not from his pride, but from his guilt. He remembers the times you tried to talk and he shut you down, the times you cried and he looked away, the times you asked for love in small ways and he dismissed it as drama. Now those moments haunt him. He finally understands that you weren't broken. He just wasn't ready to love someone who loved him right. And that realization cuts deeper than any argument ever could, because it's too late to fix, too late to apologize, too late to earn back the kind of heart that once chose him without hesitation. The truth he ran from has finally caught up to him. He lost the best thing he ever had, and it was his fault.